Now loading.
I'm going to Harvard for architecture school. Travis said this back in November 2023 to GQ when he was getting ready to go on his Circus Maximus tour. Well, I told myself after this album I was going to go in. So after the tour started October 11th, 2023 and ended October 30th, 2024. So I guess his preparation has started. He even said he would relocate to Boston and is prepared to pursue architecture study for 4 years. I've always been into structural design and structural engineering and, trying to just build all different type of things. This is what Travis does though. He builds worlds and experiences around every album era.
This is what he does! This is what he flipping does!
This is something I find really interesting. To me, a pure live performer embracing architecture. So I saw Travis live back in 2017. This was a year before Astroworld came out. So it was still the Birds era and it was in a smaller venue in London. One of the best shows I've ever been to. This was Hungry Travis. Even though it was a small stage, he still had the large bird sculpture on display. So even back then, he was creating physical worlds in smaller venues. That year, Butterfly Effect came out and pretty much everyone thought that Astroworld was going to come out that year, but it didn't. That year, he was opening up for Kendrick on the Damn Tour on the North American leg. Since Astroworld, he's proven that he can carry his own shows in big venues and that he can do stadiums. To me, it makes sense because he has stadium music.
Stadium status.
And he performs like a punk rock artist, with hip-hop being the vehicle that he uses to create music. So he should be doing stadiums. I just like the fact that he's curious about wanting to study architecture more. He's the perfect person to study architecture because he performs in arenas and stadiums, a key form of architecture that brings music artists closer to their fans, where they can bring fans into their world, creating a physical world for fans to experience. So him wanting to study architecture at Harvard sounds about right to me. I don't know how it will work logistically, but it can definitely be figured out. This is like business leaders and executives getting an MBA. His architecture experience is him performing in these stadiums and arenas and crafting his stage design with his team. Travis is someone who creates worlds with each album era. Rodeo, Birds, Astroworld, and Utopia. Travis studying architecture could actually help him to better understand the details of a stadium, which could improve his stage presence, connection with the crowd, understanding the power of the acoustics of the stadium or arena, and how he can officially project his voice and use the voices of the crowd to enhance the show, making it part of the show, making fans feel like they're contributing to the actual performance, like what Ye did with the floating stage during the St. Pablo tour. Travis could also get inspiration for his stage design too. It feels like he wants to continue to be an artist that thinks like an architect. Stadiums are a form of architecture. Architecture comes to life and translates to the everyday person when it's connected to pop culture and things they're interested in and can experience in real time. A performer like Travis shows how powerful a stadium or an arena can be when used as a vehicle for expression and connection. The stadium becomes more than just a physical structure. It becomes a tool and a platform. Just imagine if Michael Jackson was inspired to study architecture after his Bad Tour, which took place during 1987 to 1989. Freddie Mercury after that performance. Beyonce during her stadium tours. I can go on and on. Kanye didn't formally study architecture, but through his collaborations with architects, he definitely learned more about architecture from a practical point of view. The connection between hip-hop and architecture is growing. Virgil and Ye definitely laid a strong foundation in the 2010s when it came to the connection being made between architects and hip-hop artists. So Travis is definitely standing on the shoulders of those guys. 100%. With Virgil getting a master's in architecture and incorporating architectural principles into his projects, and with Ye collaborating with architecture firms like OMA for the 7-screen pavilion for the Cruel Summer movie in 2012 at Cannes Film Festival, and Family New York, who worked on the Mountain Volcano stage design for the Yeezus tour, which Virgil was also part of as creative director of the Donda Creative Agency, with Kanye being the CEO. Kanye also worked with architects like Claudio Silvestrin, Axel Verver, Tadao Ando, and Valerio Oggiati for his homes. Valerio actually said that Kanye told him that he's Picasso and he wants to buy land so he can create. In a way, they paved the way for Travis's link up with architect Valerio Oggiati last summer. Their project hasn't been announced yet, but something is definitely in the works. This is the conversation and connection between architecture and hip-hop extending and getting stronger. This is Travis on his quest to understand architecture in a deeper way. This is Travis being curious. 4032C Magazine's 46th issue back in November, Travis and Valerio linked back up to discuss how their artistic values and principles cross over into each other's worlds. Valerio put images of his architecture with photographs that Brent McKeever took of Travis. Travis said being able to see what Valerio does up close gave him so much energy and motivation. Travis told 032C Magazine that he wants to go to school to study architecture and learn about the engineering aspect of things and also about building and technique. Some of Travis's favorite architects are Valerio Oggiati, Rem Koolhaas, Frank Gehry, and Tadao Ando. These are all people that Travis said were masterminds for putting different walks of life and experiences together into different buildings. Travis went to Portugal last summer whilst on tour, where he performed in the MEO Arena in Lisbon and visited Valerio Oggiati's property, Villa Alem, located in Alentejo, a house hidden within a forest of cooked trees. Travis let Valerio come to see his show so that he could better understand what Travis is trying to build and how music and architecture coexist. Travis wanting to study architecture at Harvard or any institution is a piece of the puzzle, and Travis is curating the ecosystem of resources for what he's trying to build. He's shooting for Harvard because shooters shoot, but to be honest, it doesn't need to be Harvard where he studies architecture. It can be at another great architecture school. Travis said visiting Valerio made him question so many things. He appreciated how minimalistic and focused the space was, as it allowed him to be more mentally open and realized that he could be more central and focused with the things in his house, which would enable more freedom in his thinking. This is Travis being exposed to a different way of living that he could incorporate into his own house and personal space. And this vibe is the complete opposite of the energy that he brings to his live shows. Valerio said he wanted to make architecture that does not say anything, where you don't have to think about what it represents, where you can just experience it for what it is. He said he sees the same thing in Travis's music. Valerio and Travis both adopt a similar way of creating, where they don't necessarily create for the public, they create for themselves, and then they give the public access to it. When it comes to stage design, Travis is always trying to draw the best visuals that he can make from what he sees in his mind, and then converts it into a computer. The key for him is consistently drawing things that are beyond imagination and that are otherworldly. This gives him and his team the challenge of making sure that it works on stage. Travis has continued to build worlds. He connected with Rick Owens to design a luxury backstage safe house / man cave for his Circus Maximus tour. I envision a space that feels like an extension of my brain. This is Travis creating a physical world for himself. You can actually add Rick Owens to Travis's ecosystem of resources as well, revolutionizing the idea, purpose, and function of the backstage space. A modular structure designed to be an extension of Travis's imaginary world. This is where Travis can visualize his performance beforehand and even come up with spontaneous ideas for his shows. Backstage is an important place for an artist to prepare for their show, and it's an extension of the stage. The K-pop video, a song from the Utopia album, filmed in Palais Boulle, a mansion created and designed by Hungarian architect and designer Antti Lovak, a playful-looking home, ushering in blob architecture. Architecture with curved and rounded shapes. This is architecture that embraces imagination and fantasy. located in Teulawa-Somé, overlooking the Bay of Khans. There aren't any corners, and it stretches over 12,900 square feet on 3 levels, including bubbles, pools, gardens, a panoramic room, and a 500-seat amphitheater. The video really shows the great interior and structure of the mansion and the role that great architecture can play in a music video. Travis selecting this home for the video also just highlights his curiosity and taste for unique and creative architecture. So the mansion house was built by Pierre Bernard in 1984, and in 1992 it was bought by French designer Pierre Cardin as a summer residence. What I realized about the Utopia era is that Travis really took his live performance to an even greater level and put even more effort into the experience of his shows. I really like the promotional posters of the Circus Maximus tour as well, and this is an example of visual art being used to create anticipation to access and experience within architecture. These particular ones were designed by George Kondo, who also did the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy covers. Travis has shown his interest in architecture, and this is evident through projects that he's pursued. At his core, he's a builder. He's a musical architect, creating his own worlds that anyone can enter, live in, and interpret for themselves, where there's no rules. Him pursuing architecture makes complete sense. It's him stepping fully into a different world to elevate his own world. The Circus Maximus tour grossed approximately $209.3 million and became the highest grossing solo rap tour to date, selling 1.3 million tickets across 78 shows worldwide. Whatever Travis is building, I know it will be creative and something you can experience without having to think too much about it.